this video, I'm going to tell you about my favorite hack to buying single-family homes, new home builds. Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I've been doing real estate investing for over 25 years as a side hustle here in Austin, Texas. So these new home builds that are my favorite hack to buying a single-family home are national home builders. This includes home builders like Taylor Morrison, Ashton Woods, Ryan Homes, KB Homes, D.R. Horton, and the list can go on and on. Generally, you'll find some of these homes in places where there's still a lot of land available, so this tends to be suburbs. We're not talking about downtown Austin, but we're talking about sort of the outskirts or maybe Manor, closer to the airport here in Austin. If you're looking in other areas and in other cities, you're probably looking in the suburbs of those cities. So there's so many reasons why I love new home builds, but I'm gonna highlight 4 of those for you today. So the first reason I love new builds is the built-in equity. So when you sign a contract with a new home builder, I don't usually buy a home that's ready for move-in. I will walk into the model home in the neighborhood and I will look at all of the available lots that they can build on, and then I will choose one of the different floor plans of the homes that I would like to put on that piece of land. And once you do that, in order to reserve that piece of land and to sign that contract for that land and for that house to be yours, you have to usually put down 1 to 3%, which is what's called earnest money. And that shows that you're definitely interested. And you're at risk for losing it if you don't sign the contract. But if you do sign the contract, that money goes towards your home. Okay, so let's say 1 to 3% is what the earnest money is. Let's say it's 3%. And the home that you want to buy is $500,000. Well, that means I have to put down $15,000, which is generally less than the down payment, to reserve that lot and to have them start building on that property. What ends up happening next is they come in and they build that house for you. So when you actually close on that final day to turn that house into yours and you sign that contract where it is your house and you've taken out the loan, that house equity is generally higher because it's a year later. So you've bought a year of time with just 3%, or maybe even lower than that. Maybe it's only 1%, but you have that equity that you just now built without having to manage a tenant, without having to pay a mortgage, and just by putting that earnest money down. So that's just one jump, but there are 2 jumps here that you get in equity. And that second jump is when that final house is finished being built and it is no longer under construction and that community is a real community. People don't like to envision what it's going to be. People like to see what they're getting. So when you're buying a house in a community that's not yet fully constructed, it is always better for you because after you buy it and after that community has been established and that community has people living in it and there's a pool or some playgrounds and buyers can come in and see what that looks like, that neighborhood becomes a lot more attractive. So let's review because this equity piece is so great. You put down a small amount of money to reserve that plot of land and to have that contract and to have them build the house that you want with an agreed upon price that is 1 year or 9 months or 6 months from when you actually close on that house. So you get that time, that clock is ticking, and you get that equity that you build without having to manage a tenant or without having to pay a mortgage. And then that second jump, again, in equity happens once that last house is completed and you are now in a community and your house is in that community and you've likely agreed on a price or paid on a price that was from before the construction even started. So in case having that home equity is not enough to convince you to go look at a national home builder, the second part of it is these national home builders work with their own lenders. And what that means is that these lenders can offer you things that no other lender can offer. And every single time I've purchased a home from a new home builder, I've shopped around, and every single one that I've shopped around with has said, go with what the home builder's lender is doing because we can't match what they are doing. So what sort of incentives do they offer? Well, one popular thing that I've seen is they pay for the title, which is no small amount. They can also offer some incentives towards closing, which means you could possibly buy down your interest rate by paying for points. And that is a huge deal. So my friend's mom recently bought a house in a new home builder community, and she was given such great incentives that she was able to use those to pay down the mortgage rate by paying for points at closing. And that meant that her mortgage rates were a lot lower than what you're seeing out there today. My third reason is everything is brand new and everything is up to code. You have a new roof, you have a new HVAC system, the pipes are new, everything is up to code. You don't have to worry about anything when you buy that house as far as new technology goes. I've seen them now where Lennar, I believe, they will install Ring doorbells for you. Some of them put in Nest thermometers. There's just so many perks to getting a new home. Okay, and last but not least, there is a 1-year builder's warranty on things like finishes. You get a chance to go into the home and you get a chance to look and say, okay, the paint here isn't done quite well. These things aren't working quite well. And they'll go in and fix everything. But at closing time, you're normally just left to say, here are the keys, the house is yours and all of its problems. In this case, if you have any issues with anything like the finishes or anything that's not working, for that first year, you get to go ahead and call that builder and they will come over and fix everything. And there's different types of builder's warranties. Usually there's like 2 years on more structural things and 10 years on other things. So there's a lot of warranties that come with buying a new home from one of these builders. So there are a couple of different things that you do have to worry about with a new home that you don't with an existing home. And one is that date of completion is moving. So it might finish earlier than forecasted, probably not. And it's probably going to finish a little bit later than forecasted. And that means you just have to plan and scenario plan for what happens if that date moves around. And here's a really minor thing, but it's also a good tip. When you have a new home like that, there are no window coverings. So if you're moving in there or you have a tenant moving in there, just budget and plan to have blinds put in or some sort of window coverings. Otherwise, it's just going to be all windows wide open that first night that you move in. I hope this has been helpful. I'll drop the links to some of the home builders that I've used and some of my more popular home builders that I've seen down below. Please take a look at them. Please comment below if you have any questions on buying a new home. Let me know about your experiences and good luck with everything. I'll see you next time.